Well, welcome everyone to the City Council workshop meeting. We have a quorum with 4 members present. The mayor's running a wee bit behind. She'll be here shortly. And this is a workshop format, so fair game relative to opportunities for discussion and comment. Thanks for being here for the brains who are going to help us work our way through this, including you, Mike. We're here to talk about the budget for 2025-2026. We have 2 items on the list. That's the purchase of new animal services incinerator, partly funded by Brewster County through their local agreement, and then updates to utility fee schedule for the year. So with that, Gio, I'll turn it over to you to kind of get the ball rolling.
Thank you. So tonight's workshop is to review 2025 to 2026 budget and determine necessary amendments with the focus on the purchase of the animal incinerator, like you had previously stated. I did include in your packet a background of some of how, an explanation of how we've reached this point, and essentially we do have Brewster County offering to pay $50,000 towards that animal incinerator. We will have to cover the remaining portion, which the model that we are seeking is approximately $108,000. In reviewing our financial policy, we would find that we're likely going to have to go out for RFP on that, but we do have basically the ideal model in mind. That model would provide significant benefits to us, including the ability to process several cremations in one day. Right now, we're limited to 1 per day. And of course, as you all know, the current incinerator is nearing end of life, so we don't expect that it will last much longer. So as I included in the packet, it's just important that we continue to do what we can to offer that community service to our residents and the surrounding residents. Part of the agreement with Brewster County and them providing the $50,000 would include a number of years as part of a interlocal agreement, and where we would provide the services to Brewster County. So do y'all have any questions?
So probably Jennifer, why don't you run us down what this is going to do for us?
Thank you.
Come on up.
Thank you, Rick.
We have provided some information to you guys in the past about this. So let me pull up my notes here.
So how much longer is the current one going to last?
It's on its last leg. I don't see it lasting another year. And as you know, we're not gonna have that income coming in. So I mean, we're making it work, we're making it last, but it really needs to be replaced today.
So is the bottom getting ready to fall out?
Yeah. It's just a matter of time. Yep. So, I mean, let me see, I got my numbers, so far this fiscal year, or this last fiscal year. I put everything out of order, looks like.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I think I did it backwards. I'm
On your toes.
I printed it out. Let's see. Where did I make that note? Dang it.
The budget says you bring in last year $22,250.
Yes.
And we can allocate $25,000 for this year.
This was. Yeah, 2019, it was a little over 22,000. And then it's just been going up from there. 2020 to 2021 was almost 28,000. The year after that was a little over 28,000. The year after that, which was 2022 and 23, was a little over 34,000. And then we were kind of around that same number around 2023 and 2024. So it's going to pay for itself.
With your current backlog, are you able to keep up with your cremation?
Yes, so we do have a cremation log that we keep track of. There it is. So far between 2024 and 2025, as of right now, we have done 378 cremations for just the public. That's not including anything that we picked up off the roads, anything like that. I do want to add that we also pick up deer, and currently what we're having to do is take that to the landfill. I think we're allotted at 20. Can you confirm that 20 a year.
I believe so.
After that, and we do go after that, they are charging us for those dumps. With this incinerator, we will not have to pay that fee.
Do you know what we're being charged per dump?
What the paperwork says, I think it's between like 110 or 130 per dump. Can you confirm that to you?
I'll look at it.
Okay,
And then-
that's what our sheets usually say when we get them back.
And then do we have an average on how many we're taking out there after our 320?
I should have brought that number.
Okay,
It was, yeah, it was well over. I noticed this year in particular, we went over really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So, it's unpredictable too.
Okay. And then are y'all keeping up with the cremations currently, or how far back are y'all?
Currently, I mean, sometimes we get them, we'll have multiple show up in a day, so we're having to house them in, our big freezers. Like you said, we only have the opportunity to do one every day, so sometimes we can have like a week's worth of, deceased in our freezers waiting to be cremated. And that's not even including what's in our communal cremation freezer, which is people who either paid for not to get their pets' remains back, or any kind of animals that we picked up off the road that were deceased. So they literally,
So you could be
Pile
anywhere
up.
from a week plus
yeah,
out.
it can be.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's not ideal.
And this new incinerator that you're looking to, it would be big enough to cremate a deer?
Yes, that was my point with that, is it should be able to cremate up to 300 pounds. So that would keep our communal freezer empty, more often than not. I mean, sometimes even the tops of that, the door is open because it's so full and we're trying to get our privates done. So we'll be able to get those deer cremated, so there won't be any added cost to the dump fees. And then we'll be able to get those communals done quicker too.
You know, you've been waiting so long for this. I know we've been working together on this. Do you have any concern that we're partnership with the county, or that will help you, that will give you more work, or what are your opinions on it?
So what I've offered them in that deal is exactly what we're doing right now. We just don't have it on paper. So it sounds nice, but we're already doing it. So.
And then there is some cost information as well, like it's included on page 12 of 338 of the packet that shows from January 2020, we've already spent approximately $217,778 on Brewster County services. So we're already,
Yeah.
kind of providing that.
That's just
and then
5 years of service.
To loop back to the contract, it does say 25 large animal bodies each year, and I would just have to keep looking as far as what it costs after that.
Something we can also think about is, we have not increased our fees for cremation, and that could also help outweigh this cost. We've never increased our fees for this.
Mhm.
So, we could look into doing that to speed up the process of getting our money back for this.
And what's the fee? You probably said. but
Yeah,
let's get
actually didn't
organized.
include our cremation packet, but price packet, but it can be anywhere depending on if they want a private cremation or a communal cremation. The communal cremations range anywhere from $30 to $90, and then the private cremations are anywhere from $90 to $170. So that's a bargain.
Depending on weight.
Yeah, depending on weight. Mhm.
If these get approved today during the action items, how soon as you will get your incinerator?
So I actually talked to the guy today. He's been very adamant about communication. So that's another reason why I picked this gentleman, is he has been, checking in constantly, just seeing where we're at. He's excited to work with us. I think it's going to take some time because there's, the shipping and then putting it all together. They also do have a guy come out and go over the first, like how to do it, how to work the machine, so that we're not going in blindly, because this is going to be a completely different model than we've ever worked with. The last one was, really just a bona fide barbecue.
So dead animals, if they're large, is $130 and small are $40. The TDS charges us past the 25 that we get included in the contract.
And tell me once again, how many you think past the 25 we do?
Ooh, at least a dozen. I'm
So
sure.
12 times, what'd you say?
130 if they're large.
Our receipts usually say 110 to 130. If they're small enough and we can get them in our communal freezer, we will do that to avoid having that dump fee.
Mhm.
And so, I don't have the spec sheet here in, this packet for the two different models. I see the KMA 1200.75 and then the 125. Which one are you looking at wanting? And I'm guessing that's just size difference between the two models?
Yes, one of them can just do more weight. So I think the 1275 was the one that was 300 pounds. That would be the max 300. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing that very often. It would just be able to cover, our large deers, wild pigs, our communals, of course.
How much does a deer weigh? A mule deer?
Mill deer's,
Please.
couple hundred pounds.
Couple hundred pounds, yeah.
So they should fit, no problem.
Yeah.
Mostly. So you're saying you're looking at the 1275? That's the one y'all are looking
Yeah.
at getting?
Mhm.
So the 125 is bigger?
Yes. Well,
So-
actually, it might be smaller. I don't have those specs on me right now. The 12.
Because of 1275
Mhm.
102, the 125 is 108.
Mhm.
So I'm guessing just by price, it might
Yeah,
be bigger.
it's. Oh, the other one was 125? Then
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
So
Because I'm sorry, we only have the specs in here for the 75. Which is
Okay.
Maximum load of 300 pounds.
Yeah.
75 pounds per hour,
Yeah,
500,000 BTUs,
I think
so
the
I
other
think-
one was 500.
pushing.
so if
And then
you,
the county's paying half.
Yeah, 50.
so
50K.
the $6,000
Really,
difference in
2
me, I
Cover the
mean,
rest of it.
if you can get the bigger one, which means probably more animals, more.
Yeah, it is. We also need to keep in mind, though, that we are trying to get this into our already built crematorium. So the measurement specs are a factor as
So
well.
that's why you're going with.
Yes, that's another factor.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
And then are we looking at going out for funding for this then?
So
Or-
I was hoping that we might be able to just use a cooperative if any of these companies were on one, but in reviewing our finance policy, Victoria did see where if it's over 50,000, we have to go out for RFP under our own internal policy. Prior it was because of the $50,000 state
Right.
statute. Of course, that's raised now, but
Yeah,
we need to
$100,000
update the
now.
finance policy next year probably to make, match that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it looks like we'd have to go through the RFP process for that.
How much money did we budgeted this year for the animal shelter?
For the incinerator, it's none.
No.
No, and this is why we brought it back for a workshop, just to kind of make sure that we keep it on top of it, and that we're gonna need to do a budget amendment. So that's why we're kind of having the discussion to figure out if we can make that happen.
I have a quick question. So it has been in the CIP for several years. And I know that I've seen on paper that $10,000 was being set aside, at least for the last couple of years, for this project. Has that money actually been set aside for this project, or
Have you seen anything like that, Victoria?
no? Okay. Because that would be a big help too. Okay,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So there's possible that it could be 20,000 set somewhere.
I've seen at least.
Every year it disappears, so I don't.
Then why are we doing CIP?
So we do anyway.
Hopefully.
And I'm in agreement with Mr. Stevens, because usually when it was mentioned that it was set aside,
Mhm.
it did not necessarily mean that we're pulling 10,000 and
Right,
placing it in a separate fund for it.
okay.
It was just part of a line item.
So why wouldn't it be knowing that this thing was needed? So the
Yeah.
whole budget process, that's why we do an annual budget. That's why I was so emphatic about the CIP. It's a wish list. And we appropriate every year unless it's set aside. That's how the budget process works. If the money doesn't get spent, you line it all up. That's what Victoria's going through right now to figure out what do we have. Last year we had budgeted $17.2 million total budget. When she gets the books closed in June, she'll know how much we spent. That money will then go to fund balance, and then we'll know what we have on our fund balance. So,
Yeah.
no, it's annual appropriations, it's all we do.
In my perspective, it would make sense. And when we say we're gonna set aside money that from going forward, we set aside that money.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Instead
what I'm-
of starting over
That's
every
why I'm
year.
like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that several of the funding resources that were actually included in the CIP were not correct.
Mhm.
So even that is something that we're having to go back and look at, because I know part of the ARPA funds were flagged for the meters between was not correct.
Mm.
And so we're pretty much gonna have to start
Over.
from scratch. And then build it, but in a way, we're looking at it as a good opportunity for us to set it the way that
Yep.
we,
Yeah.
for it to be set. So we're trying to look at the positives.
And the next one won't have to be as rushed for you.
Exactly.
It'll be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other concerns or that you have? Are you happy?
I would really like this project to go forward. It's, I mean, I can't imagine, I mean, I've been doing this 17 years and before this, you know, what was it? 12 years ago, we've been doing this 12 or 13 years doing cremation before this. Handling body disposal it's horrific. We are past that. Yeah, I have chills too, just saying it. We are past that. It doesn't make any sense for people to have to drive to other communities to have their pets cremated, to have to dig holes in this dirt, or to take their beloved pet to the dumpster. That's unacceptable. Or to the dump.
I think that while we have the county willing to give us 50,000. So that that money doesn't vanish in their budget process next year, that we probably should jump on it.
It will pay, I promise you, it will pay for itself. If we
No,
don't
yeah.
have it at all, we will not
I-
have that $35,000 income.
I think we should consider raising the fees a little bit, not too
Absolutely,
much, but
absolutely.
some
I agree.
for the cremations.
What would be reasonable on it, Jennifer?
In my mind, I was thinking maybe $20 more per type of cremation.
And that would generate, what, $6,000, $7,000.
So it wouldn't be a giant jump, but it would at least be,
It'd
it would be
help.
something.
Yeah, based on, 378 times $20, it's gonna be $7,000.
And it's not too much for residents, you know, with everything going up
Yeah, I don't want to
nowadays, it's just hard.
throttle them too hard, but
Not, I'll get myself in trouble there. What if you went up $50?
go at $50.
I'm asking.
We would, I'd need to look at our surrounding, I mean, Midland, Odessa, El Paso, what their pricing is, because if we're asking for far more than what they're asking for, people may not use us anymore too. We'll have to consider that.
So I think it would be helpful for us if you go back and validate your number,
Mhm.
because we're working fee schedules. It'd be nice to get that on council to get that updated as we buy the new unit. And that way you got the additional record to work it.
Sure, I can absolutely do that.
So we can get started on the RFP soon, but what are y'all thinking as far as a budget amendment? Should we go ahead and present one for consideration
Yes.
as well going forward? I mean, because we only have, of course, December 2nd, and
Right,
Well,
yeah, I think so.
and then next year would be the next meeting. Okay,
Good.
yeah.
All right.
So I guess we'll research.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Good.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Would you like me to stay or?
You're good to go. Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
All righty. so-
Okay, I'm off my game here, Jim.
No problem.
So the next item up in our workshop is,
Utility fees.
yeah, update, good. Glad Mike's here. Update to the utility fee schedule. And utility billing rates, and Carmen's here too.
Alrighty, so I did pass out some information that Randy provided. I sent it by email as well. And Victoria took the liberty to actually get the fee schedule, and kind of on the side, there's a third column. That will show where Randy's requested amendments are going to go. He couldn't be here because their whole team are requalifying right now. But he did forward those, and then As far as the water utility rates are concerned, we do have Mike and Carmen here available to talk about any amendments that they see. But I really haven't received any feedback on the water utility rates as of yet.
Probably be discussing this. Would you rather we go up to the podium or?
Yes, yes, because it's recorded and that way everybody can hear you. And if you would, just introduce yourselves for anybody who logs in later to look at the YouTube video.
Okay, Victoria Sanchez, Director of Finance.
Mike Macias, Director of Water, Wastewater.
Carmen Rodriguez, Customer Service Clerk Supervisor.
Okay, so you do have, what Randy provided with the gas department. He really felt comfortable with the other rates that we had, already approved in the past. And so he also provided a breakdown on, the recommendations that he, has provided. Okay, and these are the ones that are on the side with a gray box. For the last 3 pages.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so the,
Hold on. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
the emergency shut off valves, he is requesting that we increase that to $50. And there he did state that the cost of the material has increased. And I know that that is something that we're currently facing, especially with the current market. And he just really felt that the $25 was too low and that 50 would cover the actual cost.
I'm sorry, Victoria, where are we?
This is the page right before, like the third to the last, or the third, yes, sir.
Right there.
So really quick, when was the last time, when did all these fees first come? I mean, $25, we're going up to, when was the last time that it was talked about and
So the last
how long
time.
has this been going on?
So essentially, we updated an ordinance quite a few years ago in 2021, I believe. I believe I had it back in somewhere. But essentially what happened is we updated the utilities ordinance to remove the fees from the ordinance and pass them by city council resolution. This is that happened with the passage of ordinance 2021-0404. That year, we passed an updated fee schedule for the first time and we've passed one every year since. And the
Okay.
last one was passed in August of 2024.
Yeah, okay, so
2024?
2024?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was the last time, like, that's where the $25 came, so it's time for us to increase
Right.
prices.
If there was a change, there may not have been a change last year.
And then there's their last year's resolution is included in your packet, page 37 of 338. So you can see exactly
what that
what
is.
changed with that resolution last year.
Okay, good. Where would the gas portion be?
So that one, we're looking at the emergency shut-off valve. It was $25. It was last year.
So it didn't increase.
It didn't increase last year.
Yeah, and I'll just give you a perspective. I looked at my wholesaler and for these gas control valves, for my company is $22 and change is wholesale cost.
Yeah.
For this valve, so we definitely weren't making
Anything.
covering costs at all. So to give you a perspective on what it's gonna cost the city, compared to what we're charging.
Okay,
So why would someone go install one?
For customer side shut off?
Yeah.
Shut the gas off without turning the meter off.
And what's the
I would
cost of
imagine.
turning the meter off?
What's
What's the cost of turning the meter off?
if it's an emergency,
No,
it's
not
nothing.
emergency, just.
Yeah, if it's for non-payment, then it would be a $35 disconnect and a $35 reconnect. So
I
it'd be
get that,
$70.
no, but someone who would want to install a shut off for a specific purpose, they're interested in shutting it off without having the city to come out, turn it off. If it's not an emergency and they paid their bill, what's it cost to have that done?
Nothing. They're not charged with it.
Okay, so I'm just a resident and say, hey, I want to turn my gas off. Come on out, turn it off, doesn't cost anything. I'm just wondering why I'd go put a shut off out. That's my question I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
How many of those do we have?
I know from a code perspective, like if I were to come over to your house and install a new gas line,
Yeah.
by code, I have to have one at the meter and one at your house where it's coming up out of the ground before it goes in.
Yeah.
And so I could say from a safety standpoint, I don't know how long it's gonna take Randy or his boys to get there. So if you were having a gas leak and you had your own customer shut off, it's a lot easier for you to go out there and cut it off, and then the gas department gets there when they get there. Yeah.
But
I don't know what their turnaround is, but that would be my only rationale behind it.
Yeah, because I have a valve at every one of my gas ports, at
Absolutely.
every one of my appliances. So I leak, I just turn it off. And so I'm,
Unless it's in the wall or attic or
Yeah.
something goofy like that,
Yeah.
God forbid, but.
Yeah.
It happens.
okay.
And these are very good discussions because that is something that we did find in reviewing this. I am gonna ask for more time to research this a bit more. Randy is currently recertification in his department, which is why he is not here to answer any questions. And so, once again, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but we're learning as we go.
Sure.
And so, cause even like Mike and I have had discussions on what does this mean? What does it take? Because in order for us to be able to understand and properly present any recommendations, we need to understand what's taking place.
Yeah.
And so Mike did visit with Blake also earlier, so we're still in our discussion research phase. So any questions that you do have, we welcome them.
Yeah.
Because those are areas that we can research. And the other thing that I do want to do with this fee schedule is, you are aware of our utility billing issue. So I did visit with one of the customers and she had the schedule in her hand, was trying to show me her justification of the fee. And I also had a hard time sort of following it. And so I did visit with Carmen because I told her we need something that's a bit more user friendly. So once we understand the fees, what's taking place, I would like to change this format so that if our customers are also looking at it, they know what is being applied and why. So this is discussion only. We welcome all of your questions because we too want to understand why we have this set up.
I guess in regards to the customer side shut off, one thing I would be interested in, or I guess two things, how many have we done? Is it like something that we often do? Or are they doing it when they're replacing a meter since they're already there? Are they doing it to try and help the customer? Because by all means, me personally, I think everybody should have a customer side shut off so you can turn your own gas off in case of emergency, due to the fact that they shouldn't be touching the city side by any means. And so, and if it's something that we do often, and it is something that we are doing for the customer when we're replacing a meter or whatever, I can tell you right now, $50 is the best bang for their buck that they'll ever get, because if they have a plumber come out to do it, I promise you it's gonna be a lot more than $50 to put in a customer side shut off at their meter. So if the city's able to do it, I mean, I'm all for it, as long as, if people are aware that they can have that option and that what it is, that they can call us and be like, hey, I'd like a customer shut off at my meter. That's a possibility. I think it's a great service for Randy and the guys to be offering.
Along that line, do we do that when we change a meter?
I don't know. That's one of my questions. Are we doing that with
Yeah.
meter change outs or not?
My reaction to change a meter, you gotta put a customer shut off, include that in the price of the meter.
I don't know.
Only because.
Yeah, no. Just
Yeah,
so y'all know, like, this
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking of, like,
Yeah.
is that a standard? Is it a policy? Is
Yeah.
this something that they could request, like if they don't have a customer shut off. And so just ideas of what I think would like answers to.
The not the gas, but especially the water as well. That they
Yeah.
have.
Yes.
Because how many times has?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
However, I will say, for Mike's sake, that is a lot more invasive and a lot more labor intensive than for the gas guys. Like for the gas, that's a 30-minute job. Más o menos, you know, but it's really not all that hard on the gas side. It's already up and out of the ground and everything. For them, they're digging, is there a fence? So they're gonna have to get on the other side of the fence, property lines and stuff like that. But so there's a lot more.
I agree, for the water side, it's beneficial, I know, the apartments on Orange Street, what's that called? Yeah, the Mountain Apartments, they have their own customer shut off, and we've had several leaks. And, they just shut it off, and it's just a convenience of them being able to shut it off. So it is beneficial for them, I guess it's encouraged for them to get a customer shut off. I don't know what the,
I mean, when they get a new water line
Yeah.
installed, by code, they have to have it.
okay,
Yeah, so it will go in. There will be one at the meter and also just like gas, one at the house. Which helps in a lot of ways.
And it goes into our end also with electrical, you have to have a disconnect. By code, where you shut it off. So.
It's a bit redundant, I think, from a code standpoint, but I understand.
I guess in the grand scheme of things, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my reaction on the gas stack and for the water as well. We just saw because I noticed we have certain fees. And then we have some that are based upon actual cost. Almost reaction is, I'll do whatever the cost is. City's not trying to make any money, we're trying to be safe, and there's gotta be a cost associated with that. It's almost like, you know, because you don't know what you're gonna run into when you're going out to a site to put a new meter in, do you? And I don't know how you anyway figure that cost out until you're done. It's just that I have 4 guys and, you know, and I use a trencher and all the other things go along with that. I don't know why we just for new meter service, things like that, it's that cost.
Well, I mean, you'll have an average, so, you know, from a plumbing standpoint, it's just really no different. There's a lot of things in a lot of companies that are going to a flat rate. It's like, here's the average time that it should take, and here's the average materials that it takes for the job at current cost, market cost, plus markup and stuff. There's your price, you know. And which is good from a management standpoint, is that if here's the national time that it takes, if you're going over that, obviously I need to talk with my employee. Why are you, because you're costing the company money now, like what's going on here, and address that. And it'd be the same way for you. What's going on with your employees? Are they sitting there on their phone instead of changing this meter out, whether it's stashed out in the alleyway or not? And so to me, with the meter, it would, for certain things that, sure, there are some variables that you'll get into. Sometimes you're going to lose some, but majority of the time you're digging up in a meter box and you have meter nipples on both sides and you're ripping it out and putting it back in. It's a pretty quick job.
If we're that sophisticated, great. I just don't
Yeah.
think we have a good accounting system to really know what we expect. My observation, I could be wrong.
Your thoughts, man?
Well, I agree with what you're saying, if a flat rate is better.
But what is the reality from your standpoint, though?
As far as, I'm sorry, say that again,
What's your reality, though? Because I'm saying from a plumbing company standpoint, that's my reality and a lot of others. However, that may not be yours.
I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right, I agree, I think that, I don't know if I follow, to be honest with you, but,
So do you think, like how Rick's saying, should we do everything at cost? So no matter what,
oh,
you're gonna do a time and material. So if you have your boys go out and replace a meter, it's gonna be time and material. So whatever it takes, you're gonna have to keep up with how long your guys are there, how many guys you have there, what materials they're doing to replace that meter, and that's what the customer is gonna, or the citizen's gonna end up, ultimately the customer is gonna end up paying. Or do you think that there's a expected time that it should be done in, and we know what our material is, i.e. the meter?
especially with
And then-
water, it's always just a kind of, not a flip of the coin, but there's always different issues, something come up, the line is antiquated, like for, on Fort Davis. And 8, we've had 4 leaks in the past 7 days, so they just keep, so you expect it to be done, but yet, an issue comes up, then, and you're just putting, so it's not,
Sure.
it's not set. If I'm answering
Well,
correctly,
that's for water leaks on our sides, right?
right,
Yeah, but as far as this fee schedule is, right? What it costs to do a tap or what it costs to replace a meter. Like I know the taps are gonna vary because if it's on your side of the road, it's gonna be exponentially cheaper because we're only doing, say, 10 feet of material instead of it being on across the street. Now we're cutting the street, and I know that's an upcharge because you're paying for the street to be replaced. But now we have the material from the far side of the road going all the way across to your meter. So I know that varies. I don't know that dramatically would be from a material standpoint would be a difference, but I think, especially for what Rick is saying, I would caveat off of it for sure that, depending on where that main is, if we're having to cut across the street, like obviously this $1,500 probably isn't sufficient if it's coming across the street. I understand that, we're gonna charge for the street, but is this $1,500 covering the cost of your boys being out there for the extended amount of time to dig across that street as well, plus the extra material for going across the street, whereas if it was right there on my side of the road, does that make sense?
it does. Yeah.
Okay, or say, like how we had that issue that you'd helped me out with the other day. They said that there was a leak on the customer side. I showed up to do a leak detection, found out the meter was broken instead. You came out, it took you all of 30 minutes to dig up that meter box, replace the meter and the box. So those are the things we're saying. Do you think it would be better for a flat rate of this is what it costs? And a citizen can come in and look at, I know I need a new meter box. If I call the city, what are they gonna charge me to do a new meter? They look at this fee schedule, it's gonna cost me $250, hypothetically speaking, right? And then, I got this request, it should take my guys 45 minutes to go out there, dig that meter up and put the new box in, and cover it up, be on their way. So that $250, hypothetically speaking, covers our costs on my guys going out there, digging that up, putting the new meter box and burying it and going about their day.
I think a flat rate would be better for the simple fact that, we don't know what's to come, and I think a flat rate would be sufficient.
For tasks that are like that, you know what you're getting into and what the average cost and the materials for that task are gonna be. In a perfect world, I understand there's variables that happen, but
What if we had a flat fee up to a certain number of hours? And that if it exceeds, say, 2 hours or 3 hours, then it's an additional fee of. And then we try to determine what would be the best.
sure.
Option.
My only question would be, if a task is allocated for 2 hours,
Mhm.
right? Why are we going over 2 hours? Is it our guys not doing their due diligence and they're not being efficient? Or is it because they ran into everything that could possibly be buried right there and it was completely out of their control? And then how often does that happen? Right,
To
would be
make
my
sure it's-
thing.
To make
So-
sure it's justified.
Right, because with flat rate, sometimes and not very often, you're gonna eat one or two throughout a quarter or a year. But usually over the grand scheme of things, it's not really gonna happen. But that's what I'm saying. My reality on the customer side could be completely different than what you're dealing with in the alley or in the street. And so that's why I'm asking, like, because from my perspective, if I'm running a yard line from the meter over to the customer's house, I know exactly what it's gonna cost me to do that based off of linear foot. My cost of material doesn't change, and I'm gonna look at, what kind of soil am I digging in? And because that's where mine goes. Is it good digging or is it hard digging? Do I have a tree right here next to where I'm digging? I know I'm gonna run into tree roots, and so that's where it's like, I don't know how, I mean, Ricky, by all means, I would love your input. I don't know how in depth we want to get on this, but it's like, okay, cool, 3 or 3/4 inch tap starts at $1,500, but if the main's on the other side of the street, we're adding $500 for the extra labor and material to get across the street. if you have a tree that you planted right there next to your yard or your property line, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I know that my guys are gonna be getting into tree roots and we're gonna have to spend an hour and a half pruning roots out of the ground so we can get in there and replace or doing a tap extension or whatever. That's an additional fee. So it's all flat rate, but depending on situations, you can be like, however, and so when your guys go out to do a tap assessment, they're gonna be like checking boxes, right? It's on the wrong or on the opposite side of the road. We have a tree in the way and it's hard packed soil. We're up on Loop Road. We know we're gonna be digging through rock. It's not gonna be easy digging. So here's your flat rate fee. So when a customer or citizen sitting here looking at this fee schedule, like because I want to do a gas tap, I know there's nothing but caliche in my backyard. I know that the gas department is gonna have a heyday digging through the caliche because know how it is digging through caliche. So being realistic to myself, I can sit here and look at this utilities fee and be like, okay, it's definitely qualifies as hard digging. I know it's gonna charge me an extra $500 or whatever we come up with digging through that. And then I also know that the gas tap is on the opposite side of the alley. I know they're now crossing a water main and a sewer main because it's in there. And so they're gonna have difficulties getting across that depending on depth. So I'm expecting as a citizen that I am probably gonna be charged the maximum of what this is gonna be. And hopefully, whoever Randy sits out there is like, well, me and Mike looked at it. The mains are under the depth that we need to be, so it's not gonna be too bad. And the caliche shelf actually ends in the alley. I don't know, but they've dug in that alley, they know. And so it's not gonna be as bad. Or they can be like, yeah, you're absolutely right. And so then I know for my project, so I can do my gas, have an idea of what I need to budget for my gas tap to get done. And then whatever it's gonna cost on the customer side. Does that make sense? Or is that too much? I'm sorry.
No, it's making sense, and I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys. I just barely came this morning to Victoria and asked her what's going on. I asked Blake,
Sure.
he said it looked good, but I know I need more time. I need
Yeah,
more
you're
time to
fine.
research this, I really do.
Yeah.
At BPS, I'm BPSing you guys,
But that's why we're having a
I've gotta
workshop,
be honest
so
with
we
you.
can throw these ideas out there and kind of see where we're at. Because right now, I think what our main concern is that you can't cover your overhead. So if we're looking at doing or changing these fees, I want them as unfavorable as it's gonna be, I want it to be justifiable. Why is this fee going up? Because of the fact that your main is on the other side, whether it's sewer or water. That's why your tap fee has gone up. Material has gone up. We just did pay raises across the board for the city, right? Minimum wage is now higher. So that's gone up. So therefore, there's a justification of why our fees are going up. But now, taking all of that into consideration and your expertise on being on the other side, how do you think it ought to go? Should we do a team time and material, which I'm not against whatsoever at all? Just from my standpoint, I never want my customer to incur more costs than what is justifiable. That's why I'm favorable of the flat rate, because they know exactly what it's gonna cost, and then now I can hold my guys liable for if they go over. And if they tell me, well, we ran into X, Y, or Z, okay, then that's not your fault. That happens, cool. We'll catch up on the next one. It's fine. Because some of them, as you know, go super smooth and go exactly the way they should, and then and then some of them, it's like everything that could be thrown in the bucket against you.
Yeah, and I think overall, that's my school of thought, is a flat rate, and what we miss in others, we'll gain in another one. Like, so if it takes X amount of hours more than we anticipated, the next run around it'll be shorter, and that try to balance just for the sake of the citizen. Does that make sense?
And then, council, what do y'all think? And then I also would like your thought. Would it be too much going into the fee schedule use, well, Gio, if we had the variables? If you are in a part of Alpine to where we know there's caliche, or you are up on the side of the mountain, we will be digging through rock, that you're gonna see that, if that's the case, then the fee goes up X amount of dollars. But if it's, more in the center of town where we know the digging's fine, then sure. Or if it's on the other side of the street, then obviously we have more material, more labor to get it to your side of the street. Should that all be put in here to that degree? I mean, I see where it says greater than 1 foot extensions from footage per linear foot at cost. Like, do we leave it at that, or do we feel like, look, we know that generally it's gonna be 15 feet across the street, then we could put, there's that cost.
And I'm in agreement with you 100%, because part of like what we did discuss this morning, I was like, what is this? What does it mean? What do you do?
Sure.
What supplies are we looking at?
Mhm.
Because without any of that, we really can't make that determination, which is why I was requesting more time. And a flat fee is wonderful because it is something that the customers will be able to see in advance. And we don't have to go back and look at how much it's gonna cost. However, that was my concern, the different areas, or it's gonna take more time to do this, or it's gonna take more materials or supplies, that if we could come up with, I mean, it would have to be to visit with Blake and
Yeah,
And
it's gonna-
go down each one and see what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
And then come up with different scenarios, different services that we're providing, and have, whether it's level A, level B, level C, because we're running into certain issues. To go that route.
And then, side question, how far are we on tap assessments? Are you getting caught up, or are we still pretty good ways? Okay. And so, let me ask you this, when it comes to tap assessments, what's our major delay? Is it figuring out what our cost is and what it's gonna cost?
Yeah, not so much that,
Okay.
but,
Just having the manpower to be able to go out there and figure out where.
I guess we're having issues on.
Yes, so with the whole transition,
Uh-huh.
clearing out the data, bringing in all those campuses, that was that.
Okay.
Things that we're working on right now. I don't feel comfortable bringing them in right now.
Sure.
When we're having all these issues that I'm trying to clean up.
Mhm.
Just because money comes in, we're talking about large figures.
Right.
And having money unaccounted for,
Yep.
it's a no for me. Sure, everything is there that I have reported with the team, so everything's good to go. So that's where I'm at. I'm looking in December to put them all in and
Okay.
hit them with that huge load, unfortunately. And going a little bit to what you were saying with the fees and all of that. Coming from somebody that explains the fees to the customer is so difficult to explain to somebody what is at cost.
Right.
Cause they're gonna see a number. And how you were saying, if you have different scenarios and you're charging them more because it's gonna be a hard day or because there's rooms, that makes sense to them.
Yep.
I think that actually helps them figure out, oh, okay, so they're charging me this because they're doing A, B, C, and D. This and that. So if it's something that you guys. Look into them, that would be very helpful.
So it would also help you, because that was gonna be my next thing. I feel like it would also help speed up the tap assessment process. Because like I said, we can generate a form based off of this to where they go out and they see where our taps are and check the boxes that are applicable and then add them up. There's your fee for your tap, done, right there on premise,
Carmen, what issues are you having?
So when we did the billing this summer, it actually prorated from September all the way to, or like the beginning of September instead of the 19th. So my water, my gas, and my sewer charges are all over the place. So right now, Ms. Vicky and I are working through adjustments of correcting the 3,000 accounts.
So the rates were higher, the bills they received were more. Okay. I noticed that. I noticed that too. But
So.
it wasn't a lot, it was like $12 or something.
Yeah, like
It- it-
$15.
Yeah, and it looked like it was duplicating the base fee,
Yes.
the base rate is
Uh-huh.
what it was doing. And then also charging for additional water meters that were
Yes.
not active.
Oh,
And so we're having to flag all of that as well.
okay, so you're having to spend time doing that.
And then being kicked out from USDI because now they didn't want to factor check, which now I can't log in unless I download an app on my phone to get a one-time pass key. To log into USDI, and we still have it till the 30th of this month. I'm unable to go back and check through USDI which meter should be there and what size should be.
Uh-huh.
So I'm waiting on the SQL server to be up and running with 3.19, so I can confirm those.
So are you being inundated with customers calling? What are we doing to get the word out? Have we put anything on the radio? Have we talked about it? Have we put anything in the newspaper, on the website?
Officially, I haven't gotten the chance to go and get something out there. I know the clerks are trying to inform the customers as much as they can.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of accounts, a lot
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah, because if they know that there's probably a refund coming or whatever, that will probably prevent some of the phone calls and people having to bring you tomatoes to apologize and stuff like that. Right? Yeah, because that's gotta be miserable.
It's some hard times, but you know, it's for the best. And we're getting there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Mayor. So relative to fee schedules, what I think we want to do is give Mike an opportunity to go do some homework and come back with some recommended changes after you've had a chance to look at it. Just well, support that.
Oh, yes.
I think the second, and it looks like Randy's already done that on his side. In my view, the approach we ought to take from the city is whatever the customer needs and the city pays for it, and we charge them back. I don't care if it's a flat fee basis or a time and material. We just need a consistent approach that's applied so the customers understand. If I want a new tap, I wanted this, I wanted that, I'm paying for it. Whether it's amortized over multiple customers or me as a customer, we ought to philosophically set that, and that's the basis for, I'm gonna call it one half of the utility billing process. There's a second part of the utility billing process, and that is the fee for delivering water or gas. When I look at what Randy has proposed here, it's a 20% increase. I can't buy that. Okay, it's 20%. He wants to go to $12 for plus cost of service from the current 10. I will have a very difficult time going to talk to constituents. We're going to charge them 20% more for city services. On Randy's budget, looking at the budget, it would generate an additional $420,000, but I think that's excessive. So I can support the $11 increase for NT, whatever the heck it's called. I can never remember the acronym. You know, yeah, but in terms of the units you buy,
Oh, yeah.
because we buy it wholesale, okay, and then we add on our $11, or right now $10. Randy is proposing adding $20 on top of that. If I look at the budget page on page 37 of 100 or page 34, depending on what you look at, we bring in right now revenue, $2.1 million in gas revenue out of that $10. If we change that to 11, it's going to bring in $2.3 million. If you add on the 20%, it'd bring in 2.6 million. I can't support that. Going back to my constituents, say I want to increase that. So it'd be really worthwhile to understand what's the fiscal impact from a revenue standpoint out of whatever these increases are. And I would ask y'all to look at, does it have to be an even buck, or should it be a buck and some cents or whatever? Because if I'm a gas customer and I'm getting into the winter and my gas bill is going to go up X%, I'm not going to be a happy camper. And I think that's excessive on our part to charge people for that. So that's my view of, we need to take a look at that. Okay.
And along that line, thank you for mentioning that. Another discussion that Mike and I had this morning was, I was asking him how much does it cost for us to also provide the water?
Yep.
Because I did notice that we have certain fees, 2,000, and we're trying to, to see what kind of a formula, or is there any kind of historical data that would guide us as to how much it would cost today? Because I'm certain these rates were established some time back.
Been around a while. Yeah, you need to look at water rates too. Gotta ask,
Mhm.
bring it back to us with a recommendation so we understand them.
Yeah, because that was something that I was really curious about. How much does it actually cost us? Because we have the wells, so.
We want to have enterprises that are at least break even, if not making money, so we can afford to do the things we need to do.
Mhm.
We're not charging enough for water right now. I know from a gas standpoint, we're marginal at best. These are two opportunities we ought to work at, but I think we as council need to be able to say, what's our rationale? How do we talk about it so we can talk to our constituents?
And
Just right now, I don't know what the story is.
And I'll ask Randy how he came up with the $12. And I think
Yeah.
with gas, it would be easier to determine because we're purchasing gas and then, because we're paying for the gas and then we're selling it,
Yeah.
we're reselling. But on the water, that's where I just sort of felt like, is there a formula?
So
that we
this
could
would,
follow?
this is just my thought, right? My first question would be, which wells do we not own and we're paying for, per gallon, or however it is that we're paying the, who owns the land or the mineral rights for the water to be coming out of, such as like the royalty that we're paying for.
Okay.
So it would be that. And then I would say, what's our life expectancy for the equipment to get the water out of the ground?
Yep.
Right. So whatever that life expectancy is, plus the cost to bring it to current, divided amongst the life expectancy, that's our annual cost to get that water out of the ground. And then divide it down to, if you want to do it by how you have it, by between no to 2,000 and then 1,000, 2,000, or however, what is it, to 5,000, 12,000, 25,000. If you want to do it that way, to where it's now like discounted a little bit, and like he's saying, either at break even or with a small or
Okay, yep.
yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a
It's
blank.
an enterprise.
An acceptable
Profit.
profit
Yeah.
rate.
Yep.
So that when Mike needs a new backhoe, Mike has the money to fix the backhoe.
That's exactly.
When the well poops out, we have the money to fix the well instead of sitting here scrambling. When we need to run, you see what I'm saying without going too far, I'm sorry. But to where we have the money to do what we need to do, right? That's how I would personally go about it, figuring out what my cost is overall, because if we're not taking into consideration what the cost is for that well, to get said water out of the ground,
Mhm.
we're doing ourselves a disservice.
Well, and Andy did a great job for our wastewater treatment plant.
Mhm.
We did the same process and look at our water production plant.
Absolutely.
Same process.
Okay.
So what do you all think the plan forward is? I actually wanted to mention that we didn't have a rate study done by Communities Unlimited that I could forward to them to work on.
Okay.
Yeah, my apologies, I forgot to forward that sooner, but it just came to mind
We
during.
did have, you said?
Yes, it was from 2020. It was conducted in 2023 and it was presented to the council in 2024 in March. So I could forward that to you all, but are you thinking another workshop in January? That'll give you all enough time to get
Yes.
some
Would that
data.
give you enough time to work on these items?
Mhm. Then we can look at the overall concept.
And
of
are you about to
different
have an assistant director?
Yes.
Thank
Yes, hopefully
God.
The next few days, that's quite a way.
Think they'll be able to hit
So-
the ground running?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Good.
Well, we have a workshop to discuss funding nonprofit organizations for the community service grant program on the 20th. Are y'all thinking
We at the,
of January? Because this year we only have the December 2nd meeting left, and then the next
What
one.
about January 6th meeting?
We don't have a workshop scheduled for that yet.
Can we put it there?
We can.
Let's put it there. So it's gonna be fee schedule again. For utilities. And then maybe Randy can come to that one
Mhm.
if he's not training.
Still training to add more trouble.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do is definitely go back and meet and just take notes and have just a very good thorough conversation as to each line item here. And then adding, because when we're talking about the shut off valves, this one is for emergency only. So I'm looking at adding one that is not emergency, it's just a customer request.
Yes.
So I looked further down, it does show a customer request for $25. To turn off the valve. And turn it back on. So vacation fee on, vacation fee off. I presume that's customer request.
Yes, but that's if they're gonna be gone for a long period of time. We don't have a bunch of customers that leave because of those things. But on like the emergency ones, I haven't been seeing or anything.
I rest my case. People are gonna do it.
Okay.
They're not gonna do it. So I, if you open it, fine.
I guess this kind of goes into what I was asking earlier, is when it says emergency shut off valve, customer side, is that for an emergency, or is it just saying it's a cutoff valve in case of emergencies and y'all are able to install it?
It's under the gas. I didn't see one for the water.
Yeah,
I
no,
guess just
water.
justification or clarification rather on what exactly it would be.
Brandy.
Sure.
But I definitely don't see on my side, I don't see a lot of that come in, so.
Yeah.
And
I
as far,
wouldn't imagine, I've never personally encountered it with my almost 10 years of being around here doing this line of work, seeing that they've ever done that.
as far as the vacation fee, that benefits people who have houses here that they don't, so they don't have to disconnect service. They can put it on vacation. They're not gonna be billed while they're not here. So we do have those customers use that a lot, right, Carmen?
One particular that likes to use it like twice a month. Yes, it's so much fun when billing comes around, for those type of customers, but we have maybe like a handful at this point, but yeah, we have the people that have like vacation. That's really typical.
So if I were to go on vacation, say shuttle off, I don't get billed for anything?
You don't get billed for that amount of time, so if you go home or you
Yeah.
live home for 2 months,
Yes.
you won't get billed for those 2 months.
So that's what the vacation on and off is.
So you get charged $50 instead of getting charged the minimum consumption for 2 months.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Huh. So it's
Okay. All right, anything else, guys? We're at 5:01.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right, we're adjourned. Good.